All right, so let me start by saying tonight's shiur is sponsored and dedicated Leilu Nishmat Eliezer ben Feivel. May his neshama bask in the divine radiance of the Shekhinah together with all of the tzaddikim who have departed from this world, particularly the Kedoshim HaToarim that were taken from this world today by the terrible pigua that was in Yerushalayim. Amen. So let me start by just saying a little announcement that next Tuesday there will not be a shiur. I was contacted by Aish Webinars to do an online webinar, the first of which is free. After that, there will be a 4-part series of Emuna principles that I have not ever taught before. What's nice is you can see it from the comfort of your home. You just have to sign in. The link of it is on the website, on the homepage, and will be available also every day through the Daily Dose of Emuna mailing. Basically, what I'm going to talk about next Tuesday, which I've never really told in full, is my personal story, and really how I went from being a caterer to being an Emuna mentor, as people have called me. So it should be, a very interesting night, and I hope that everyone will join and tell their friends, because really we're in a place right now where we desperately, desperately need Emuna. I mean, I've gotten so many emails today, people chatting me and messengering me, and what do I do, and how do we accept it, and what is Hashem trying to say, and how are we supposed to absorb it all, and it's hard to just step in now. And we've said this before. When we're in a place where we're in a nisayon, and all of Am Yisrael right now is in a very deep nisayon, it's very hard for your mind to be able to come up with thought processes that are going to make sense and ease the pain. We all want to ease the pain. But Hashem created it in such that there is no logical explanation. There is no rationale to what happened today. And the reason why Hashem did so, and it is in His infinite wisdom, is because He wants us to feel the pain. He wants us to feel the pain. Because Hashem says, if I'm not going to get you to be together by just mundane routines, you hear the neighbor getting married, are you jumping out of your skirt? Are you blasting your music in your house because you found out that your neighbor is marrying off their child? Do you really feel that simcha? No, you don't. I don't. So if you don't, well, guess what? Then I'm going to have to really wake you up. I have to get those feelings out. Somehow or another, I'm going to have to squeeze it. I'm going to have to get you to feel that part of you, part of us, is in another Jew's body. We are not complete beings. We have no completeness on our own. It's not just that when we get married, we merge together with our spouse. But every time we get together with anyone or feel something for someone else, we do. I mean, it's not stam. The Chazal teaches, Bikur Cholim takes away 1/60th of the pain. 1/60th of, it's a real thing. It's not placebo. You are actually taking away. How is that possible? How is that possible that Al Pi Tefillah recognize the Shekhinah on top El Na Rafana Lo or El Na Rafana La 3 times, and I've done, according to Shulchan Aruch, I have fulfilled the mitzvah Bikur Cholim. Nothing. I don't have to do. Some say, well, you should do one act of trying to make the patient comfortable, but mamish, like that's the mitzvah Bikur Cholim. I'm taking away. Why? Because I'm showing that person that I care. I'm showing that person that I made the effort. I took out my time to come and visit you. And by doing so, that sends a refuah to the person. I'm important. I mean, what happens when a person sits in a patient? La aleinu la afachad. No one should be in a hospital ward. But you sit there and you just look at the 4 walls. I mean, what more can you do? And you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're totally isolated and alienated from yourself. And Hashem says, wow, you're going to come and take that feeling of pain from someone else, not just a physical, but emotional pain. You're going to care enough about I'm going to take away some of that pain. I'm going to make it real for them. And so we have to understand that we are very intimately connected. We're not just crying because we heard of this pigua. We're crying because every single one of us feels like someone from our family died. Someone from our family, their blood was shedding this morning. I want you to feel that every day. I want you to feel the pain and the joy, please God, only joy, in every single Jew all the time. I mean, what is it with us? What's it with me? Every one of us have to go home tonight and say, it's because of me. It's my responsibility. I didn't do something. And that's why this evil reigned in this world and enabled these neshamas to have to go as a korban. Beyond, in talit and tefillin. In talit and tefillin, that's why we started it with the pasuk. Elohim, nations have come into your heritage. They've defiled your holy temple. They have made Jerusalem into heaps. Perek Ayin Tet 79 pasuk Aleph. And how does it start? Mizmor. The Melech calls this a song. A song to Asaph. How could it be a song? How could it possibly be a song when Hashem is saying that the nations are humiliating us, dragging us through the mud? I'm sure everyone's seen what our wonderful American broadcasting, channel, CNN, did today. Making it seem like, who knows, it's our fault. I mean, the humiliation. The crown of Israel is buried together with the Shekhinah. There's no crown anymore. There's no crown. We really are alone. We're totally alone in this world. And the prophecy is happening right here. Right here. Whoever didn't believe in Torah till now, well, now is your chance to believe. The prophecy of we will have no one else to rely on but Hashem is mamash here. We're all down on our knees right now. Every single one of us are right to just reveal His glory. Lama, they say, the goyim are going to say, Lama. Jews don't ask Lama. The goyim ask Lama. We don't ask Lama. We don't ask why. The bottom line is we need to equip. I mean, I myself feel like if I hadn't been learning and teaching till now, how can I bring chizuk unless I've done some avoda? It's a constant avoda. It's constant work to prepare ourselves. And unfortunately, I personally don't see any end near. Like right now, I just feel like it's just happening at such a fast pace. I feel like this is what it's been. This is what they spoke about right here. That we have to sit here. We have to somehow explain to our kids. We have to explain it to ourselves. Because they're looking at us. I'm not here to grab the crowd. I'm here to say it's vital for every single one of us to understand. We have to every day be embedded in learning Emuna and practicing Emuna. Because we won't get through this. We won't get through this. We won't get through seeing Mashiach. We won't. We have to constantly shield ourselves with another layer and another layer of armor to protect ourselves from falling down and breaking apart. Because it's very easy. We see that. It's very easy to break apart. It's very easy to go back to that place of saying, what? Why? Enter that space. And that pasuk that we've been learning, I will doubly conceal my face. That's today. That's what we felt today. A hiddenness. But as I wrote today in the Daily Dose, it took me so long to just find what to write. But the fact that we know that Hashem is hiding means He's here. And that's the neshama, that's the nechama, that's the consolation. If I know someone's hiding, that means I know I can find him. I know he's here. I just have to break through the barriers. And I'm capable of doing that. Every single one of us is capable of doing that. It's a matter of exiting the limitations of the body, because we said Emuna is right here. There's the crown. The crown is right here. And if each one of us put on spiritual vision, if every single one of us look at every single one of us as a neshama, as the Baal Shem Tov says, if we would respond to one another as a neshama to a neshama, there would be no machloket. There would be no machloket. What is machloket? Chelek mavet. It's a piece of death. That's what machloket is. There would be no machloket in this nation if we only saw ourselves as neshamas. We relate to one another as neshamas. We have no body. The body is a garment. Do I respond to someone because of what they wear? Am I going to be more friendlier to someone because of what she wears? No. I want a personality. I want her, her good deeds, her liveliness, whatever it is that I need. Go inside, right? I have to focus all the time on the inside. And I have to know that there's no way that neshama is not all pure and good, because it's a part of Hashem. And when I insult someone, I'm insulting Hashem. And that's what is truly the message. So when we get together, when we say Tehillim in Achdus, when we yearn out, when the energy in this room is one of sadness, but also of growth together, of coming to support one another. And Bezrat Hashem, it should only be b'simchas. Here, a piece of good news. Every single one of us, let's take it upon, something so minor but so powerful. Let's take it upon, I hereby take it upon myself, that the next good piece of news that has nothing to do with me or my immediate family, I am going to rejoice as if it's mine. I'm going to rejoice and have my kids rejoice and call my neighbors to rejoice. I'm going to make such a big deal over it as if it was my own. Because that's measure for measure. So spread the word. Tell your neighbors. We need to feel like we're doing something. We need to feel that we're proactive and we're not. I know we can all get solace from Tehillim. It does do something. I'm going to take upon myself and this mitzvah is like so. We can actually create a step that Avram makes. Every step, every thought, every sentence that Sarai Meinu said, that Avraham Avinu did. Everything that they did, there's a whole book of Musar that we can learn from it. Entire. How did he respond when he went and entered, the land and saw famine, even though he was promised? Deja vu, you feel, I've been here before. Yes, of course you've been there before. The angel showed you. You knew exactly you were going to be there. You're supposed to connect to that. It's supposed to make you feel like there is something beyond what I'm experiencing right now. To give you that reassurance that it isn't just Baba Maisa in your mind. Yes, you were here once before. Yes, there is something above and beyond this world. That's why you have those moments. There's a reason for everything. And so this angel teaches everything to us, and we're supposed to earn it back. We're supposed to grasp at it back. And so Hashem says, I know I'm sending you down to this world, and there's a big chance that you're going to forget why you're here. Right? I think we've given the mashal before of the salesman who was given the credit card, told to work for the big CEO company, right? The big, whatever they call it, mega million company, and he has to go all across country, and all the head people, they give him a credit card and they say, okay, go to the Bahamas. That's where you have to meet the client, sell it, do whatever here, charge everything on the business card, on the business credit card. So what does the guy do? He goes to the Bahamas. Boy, does he forget his mission. He's on the beach, having his pina colada. Totally forgets he had a meeting. He has to sell the company's products. Forgets his mission. Got caught up in the action. And Hashem knows that we have a big chance of being that salesperson. So Hashem says, you're going to come back to me after 120, and you're going to complain to me. You're going to say to me, Hashem, if I only knew that I was not doing what I was supposed to do, why didn't you ring a bell or something, or put on a loudspeaker and tell me, hello, you made a mistake. We're gonna come with tainus, with complaints towards Chas v'Shalom HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says, no, I want you to leave this world happy. I want you to fulfill your mission, because I know that that's what you really want. You just got mixed up for a minute. You lost your mind for 80 plus years, right? I don't want, right? I don't want you. So I have a job, Hashem. We're partners. I got to remind you, you've got a mission to fulfill. So Hashem desires for us to reach out to Him so that we'll connect back to our mission. But unfortunately, the wake-up call many times needs to be very, very painful. And I'm sure I'm repeating myself, but the wake-up call is equal to how much I'm asleep. If I'm really asleep, then the wake-up call has got to be very loud and deafening. And so that is what Hashem today send us, the most deafening wake-up call. I don't think anybody didn't hear. I don't think anybody didn't wake up today. We all unfortunately woke up today. The question is, can we keep the alarm sounding? Can we understand that we've always been dependent on Hashem? And so that's what Hashem desires. Hashem wants us to fulfill our mission. He yearns and craves for every single one of us to fulfill our mission. That's what Chazal is really, what the explanation to that pasuk. And if we understood that in essence, the Yisurim serve as medicine. In other words, let's look at the fact that every transgression, unfortunately, that every single one of us does, privately, collectively, it harms, it scars, it injures, it disables, it handicaps some sort of part of us, some sort of a spiritual limb, which then reverberates to our physical limbs, because that's how physical illnesses, break out, is when the spirit can no longer contain it, and then we see it manifesting as a physical ailment, whatever it is, headaches, knee pain, arthritis, whatever it is. They all are rooted in emotional and spiritual ailments. The idea is that Hashem says, the only medicine that I could do in order for you to be cured from that ailment is to send you the medicine called Yisurim. And Hashem says, take it as a healing remedy. Take it as a healing remedy. I know that is what is going to heal you. Because from that, you're going to lift your eyes up, you're going to see that I am involved in your life, and you're going to reach out to me, and that is the healing balm. The healing balm is the connection, the reconnection to Hashem. When we disconnect from life force. It really and truly is like the pipeline of life. So when we, God forbid, transgress, there's a blockage in the pipeline. When we, think of ourselves as being all high and mighty, and God, we're not God-like, but we think we're, Chas v'Shalom, God to some degree, that's the power of the ego, making us feel like we can do everything on our own. God, I'll call you when I need you, God forbid. That attitude, that causes a blockage. Hashem says, I need to open it up, because all these ailments, all this pain is all from a blockage. There's a blockage. There's somehow you're not connecting to me directly. And so I have to open up this blockage.
So how come what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, but then there's people that are very, very close to Hashem, and they directly get a test that's really, really difficult for them. And as you said, that they're not, that Hashem's talking to those people.
Could be that Hashem's talking to the people around them.
Around them, right.
Yeah, but Rivka, how can you say that
Okay, well, first of all, there's no tzaddik that hasn't sinned, and Hashem is medakdek in tzaddikim. He's right. He looks at the minutest of the details, like as we grow, our Yetzer Hara grows, but also the expectations grow, right? Everything grows.
Kind of wants to keep you away from being thin.
What? It makes you. I know.
Because it always makes me feel like.
But knowledge.
Don't go there because you're going to get smacked in the face.
Yeah.
No. First of all, Hashem has a plan for every single one of us, and we can't run away from the plan. So it's like, okay, I'll be an ostrich. I'll put my head in the ground, and I won't. I didn't know. I didn't read. I didn't see. You can't do that. We can't run away from Hashem, and we can't run away from our potential. If Hashem knows that you could reach yo high, He's going to make you go yo high, whether you like it or not. So you can either join forces with Him and go as a trooper, or God forbid, any one of us be dragged there. I'm just saying this as a note of understanding. We cannot run away from our life's mission. So whether we like it, whether we don't like it, whether we agree to it, whether we don't, Hashem, you put me here. That's what I have to. Those are the rules of the game of life. There's nothing that we could do. Now, if you're saying
Collectively, right?
Collectively or personally? Or personally, each one of us has our own mission to fulfill, right? It's also to elevate each one. How does the nation as whole be elevated? Each one, right? Peg by peg, and then everyone gets lifted. If I'm lifting only myself, then it's like me lifting only a finger. I mean, there's a whole body here. Everything has to be lifted. We're part of a collective.
There's to see people as someone that you look at as you yourself, what you could do how you could help them.
That's why we're
responsible. Help yourself, help them.
Right. That's why we're responsible. Right. We're responsible for one another. The Baal Shem Tov says, Hakadosh, that everything we see by someone else, every flaw is a reflection. It's a mirror of us.
How do you take the mundane
and elevate?
Just connect people and not just get carried away in the mundane.
Right. Well, the first thing is to be excited. That's the first way you're going to be able to connect anyone else to Yiddishkeit. A proper salesman cannot sell a product unless he himself believes in the product. That's why good sales representatives and companies first make you get into the product. Get into it. Why you can't live without this honey? The world is doomed without this honey. Let me tell you. Any other honey would not do. You have to believe that to sell it. And if you don't believe it, you're not going to sell it. You'll sell it to some naive people around the road, maybe. But your chances of being a really good salesman is on.
Stay there.
Yeah. Be excited. Shelo asani goya. Shelo asani goya. You know that the tzaddikim would sit down and actually meditate before they said the bracha shelo asani goy. They would say, am I really happy do I really have no excitement over anything goyish? They would actually ask themselves the question, if I find myself attracted to something goyish, I can't fulfill that bracha shelo asani goya, mamash like b'shlemut. How can I say shelo asani goya if I love, I don't know, whatever, music, whatever it is, goyish dressing, fashion, I don't know, the Hollywood stars, their lives, I don't know, whatever.
I never felt it that way. I always felt, Shelo Asani Goya is to say, thank you Hashem for giving me all of the mitzvot and all of the Torah that I have to do as a Jew.
Absolutely, but that goes hand in hand.
It doesn't mean that I have to hate everything Goyish. It just means that I have to accept the yoke of Hashem's kingship upon myself.
I didn't say you have to hate. We're not saying chas v'shalom to hate, but there's a time and there's a mission and a package for every single person. For them, it's good. For me, it's not good. It defiles my soul. It lowers me down. It's mundane. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, I'm here. I'm expected to be here because I was created with that potential to reach here. So by me associating with, they have their tafkid. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Everyone has a part in this world. But that's not for me. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, you're telling your child, they're saying, well, in their house, they eat chocolate 24/7. Why can't I? It's good for their house. It's not good for my house. I don't feed my kids 24/7 chocolate. Right? Certain things are good for certain people, and for me, it's not good. Right? So that's what I mean. Again, but it goes hand in hand to what you're saying. It definitely is a matter of me saying, thank you, Hashem, that I was gifted to be a Jew and all the, the responsibilities and the rewards that go with it. But that also means that I understand that I am different and that I'm not like, the rest of the nations. I'm part of the Jewish nation. But again, not in a condescending way. I'm not here to, God forbid, put anybody down. Again, to each his own. And Chazal teach us that there are 3 gifts that Hashem has given to us that are intimately connected to the idea of Yisurim. Right? Torah, Eretz Yisrael, and Olam Haba. They're not acquired. They're not attained. They cannot be purchased by us in any way or shape or form without paying the price called Yisurim. In other words, Hashem says these 3 gifts are so phenomenal. They're so amazing that unless you go through some sort of a trial process with them, you won't be able to acquire them. Tonight's a night of phones. All kinds. Hashem is calling. Yes. You're 100% right. Hashem is calling. Yeah, very, very appropriate what you said. So the idea is that we have to understand that all elevated, beautiful gifts, the price tag is tefillah. The price tag is yearning, and the yearning comes through the idea of tefillah. When I daven, I express my yearning. I express my desire. I understand that I'm in need, and I connect to that need. And that's where the whole idea of Yisurim come, is that the suffering comes to increase my yearning and brings me to the place where I recognize that I have to go to the source of relieving that pain. And the only source to relieve that pain is to go to Kadosh Baruch Hu, because that's where it started from. That's where it emanated from. I want to just talk about 2 very beautiful insights from 2 amazing tzaddikim, Rabbi Nachman and Rav Kook, Zecher Tzaddik Kadosh Livracha, how they discuss the whole idea of prayer, their idea of suffering, and how they look at it, and what they teach us, so that we'll understand and hopefully have an elevated outlook as far as the way that we approach prayer, as far as the way we look at Yisurim, and hopefully be able to connect to it through their eyes and look at it in a different way, as opposed to saying, why or how even, but to understand that it serves a greater purpose than me. And I think that's what this is all about, is the idea that we have to understand is that there's more to life than me and my problems and my difficulties. And we're going to soon see how we can connect that which I am going through to the greater picture of being able to cause and bring into fruition what's called Tikkun Olam, the rectification of the entire world. So Rabbi Nachman has a very different approach from Rav Kook. Rabbi Nachman, I'll first say briefly what each one teaches, and then we'll go a little bit more into depth. Rabbi Nachman says that the reason for tefillah is because there's been a separation, a severance between me and a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem wants to renew the dialogue. Hashem hasn't heard from us, and Hashem says, I need to hear from you. Let me give you a reason if you haven't until now engaged with me with tefillah. I'm going to give you a reason now to come and talk to me. Rav Kook, on the other hand, says and teaches that the reason why we need to daven and to engage in tefillah and involve ourselves in praying is because of the fact that there is actually a spiritual deficiency within my makeup of my spirituality that I need to repair, and that only tefillah is going to repair it. So there's 2 very, very different approaches. I'm sure there are many, many other approaches, but this is what we're focusing on for right now. So let's go back to Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nachman says that, I want you to understand something, Rabbi Nachman says. Hashem always listens. Whenever you daven, there's always an attentive listener on the other side. And don't correlate the answer to whether or not I'm listening. Because I'm telling you, I'm listening. Because the reason why I created the external void in your life, the reason why I created the reason for you to come and daven, is so that you will come to me. It was just an outside reason. It was just the engine to get you moving. That's why I created the deficiency. Yes, of course there really is a deficiency. Yes, there really is a reason for you to daven for your child, your spouse, your parnasa, your shalom bait. There really is a reason for you to daven. There is a lacking there. But I created it so that you will remember that I am involved, and I want you involved. I want you to involve me in whatever you're going through in life. And we learn this by the word kushia, kuf, shin, yud, aleph. Kushia is a Talmudic expression in the Gemara that whenever there's a question, they call it a kashya, a kushia, depending on who you speak to, right? It's a question. Kushia also is related to kasheh, to a hardship. And so Rabbi Nachman says, whenever you have a question, a kushia, or kasha, something hard, a hardship, a trouble, a trial, a tribulation in your life, remember that the only thing Hashem wants is kuf, shin, yud, aleph. Stands for Shema, for the shin, Hashem, for the yud, kuf, koli, aleph, ikra. Kushia stands for koli, Shema Hashem, koli ikra. Listen Hashem, my voice is calling out to you. In other words, the whole reason for a kushia in our lives, the whole reason for difficulty, suffering, pain, is so that we'll yell out to Hashem. It's not that we're looking for an answer. The answer is not really the answer to the stimulation of the reason why we endured the difficulty. The answer really is in the fact that we're crying out. So in other words, by the mere crying out, we've as if already received the answer, even though it might not be the answer I wanted, right?
So then somebody's simcha can never bring us to this point. Like you were talking before about if we would join together in achdut, in simcha, in real simcha, that we wouldn't have to do it in tzar. But then we'll never get to this point.
Well, listen, there's always going to be, unfortunately, all the Am is not going to do tshuva. There's always going to be, unfortunately, something somewhere that still needs rectification. If it's by a person, if it's still unfinished business from past generations, whatever it is. So unfortunately, I'm not saying that it's a win-all, end-all, remedy. Oh, if I'm happy for someone else and such. But it'll definitely sweeten it and lessen it. No question. No question. Again, I'm not here to belittle this type of massacre versus something else. Hashem, who can even make who could even talk about? I'm here to say that it definitely will be, a lesser of a blow. That's what I'm here to say. And there's many reasons for davening. Again, we're just like sort of approaching one. Again, we're going to now talk about Rav Kook's outlook, but it's there's two different ways that we're going to talk about. So the whole idea, let's sum up Rabbi Nachman, is that Rabbi Nachman says that the reason for tefillah is because Hashem desires to hear from us. Hashem wants us to have a kesher with Him. Wants us to. He sees a severance. There's been some sort of a breakage in the link, and Hashem wants to renew it. And so that's why Hashem, sends us the God forbid the challenges, so that we'll engage in davening and in a dialogue and in a kesher and renew. What is the kesher? Is right to likshol, to tie, to bond. That's how we get to do it. Rav Kook has a very different approach. Rav Kook says that there's actually something missing, as I said before, you have a spiritual deficiency. There's something missing in the mission that you're supposed to fulfill spiritually. You're not on the right track. Something is amiss in the way you're leading your life. And so in order for us to be able to complete that hole, that void in our lives, you need tefillah. And so we go on. Now we're going to go one step deeper, and now we're going to say, so what are the tzaddikim? What are the tzaddikim? How do they relate the tefillah? When we go to a tzaddik and we ask for them, please daven for me, or they tell us to do some sort of a something or another, what in essence are they really doing? They see what the deficiency in our neshama is, and they're able to repair that deficiency, not just through tefillah, but sort of shorten the process, possibly, and get us to repair that part of what's missing inside of us in order to close that gap so that we won't go through the suffering. But it doesn't mean that we should stop with our tefillah, because we're always, first of all, need to be engaged in preventative medicine, right? We take vitamins in order to not get sick, take the flu shot to not get to lessen the symptoms of the flu. You always have to be engaged in preventative, but preventative tefillah is very different and requires a lot less merits to put on the table than when the gzeira, when the decree is there and we have to overchange it and overturn it. Requires a much greater intervention and also a very stronger presence of Hashem, and Hashem prefers to keep things hidden so that there always will remain that idea of free will. So there's a lot of zchuyot. So the idea is, now I'm going to take it even one step further. Not only do the tzaddikim see the deficiency in us, the spiritual deficiency in us, but the tzaddikim have the ability to see how that spiritual deficiency is actually in the Shekhinah. In other words, and this is something we've learned, but now we're going to hopefully be able to make a full circle, and we're going to connect it to Rivka and her barrenness. The idea is that when we have a deficiency, we have to know that the Shekhinah HaKdusha has that deficiency as well, so to speak. In other words, Hashem creates a deficiency, so to speak, in us in a way that we can relate to it, so that by davening and asking Hashem, elevating it up back to Hashem, what did we say? When we elevate it up to Hashem, we're connecting, we're creating what's called yichudim. We're creating, that's right, a lot in the Sfardim tefillot, it's always L'Shem Yichud Kudsha. We're always trying to create unity. All right, I think I've said this before, I don't know, that's one of the reasons why here in Eretz Yisrael, what is Eretz Yisrael called? Admat Kodesh. What is Admat Kodesh? Means Adama is the ground, Kodesh is up. It's always connecting. In this country, in our beautiful land of Israel, we have the greatest opportunity to do what's called Yichud, to constantly reconnect the Kodesh with the Chol, the upper and the lower, constantly creating Yehudim. And that's why it's in this country that most people have to go through more Yisurim per se. But the Yisurim that they are going through are elevated to the fact that they're mamash with their hands deep in the mud, as they say, in mamash creating Yehudim that are really substantial and significant in terms of bringing about the redemption. A mitzvah done on Admat Kodesh is not a mitzvah done anywhere else. Again, I'm not belittling whatever everyone's mission is to live wherever they need to live is where it is. And Hashem has a plan for everyone. But I'm saying, but we should understand that in this country, that's why you're able to do so much, but it also may entail a little bit more harder work. That doesn't mean that a person won't have Yisurim if they're outside. It's going to be of a very different nature outside than it is here. Here, you're mamish working towards Geula. Mamash working towards Geula, bringing about Yehudim. So let's go back to the Parsha. When Yitzchak Avinu saw, and he was asked by Rivka Imenu to daven for her barrenness for her to be awarded to have a child, Yitzchak Avinu saw the deficiency, so to speak, in the Yichud in the togetherness of Kucha Brichu, the male manifestation of Hashem. I know it's very deep, but I'm trying to explain it very simple. With the male manifestation to the Shekhinah, which is the female manifestation, and that's what we're always trying to do. That's why there's so many problems, unfortunately, today's world with Shlom Bait, is because we're always trying to link together the male and the female, constantly trying to link it together. And there's such a division in Shemaim that Hashem is trying so much for us to work on it. When we work on our Shlom Bait, not just between husband and wife, but between mother to child, between neighbor, right, person to person, the shalom is mamash bringing together Kucha Brichu, the male manifestation, with the Shechina, with the female manifestation. So what Yitzchak saw, he saw that there was something missing in Rivka Imenu's neshama. There wasn't a yichud, there wasn't a link there that enabled for the male sperm to enter into the woman's womb and create the yichud of bringing about a child. We getting it? Any questions? Oh, we're looking a little confused. Okay. It's a very deep.
The reflexology of a baby on your foot, you know, the map of a baby.
Right.
And for all I know, it's also something that's
Bigger.
That Rivka,
Right.
Yitzchak connection. You've got
Also, when he was shechted,
Something
well,
beyond
there's
the-
opinion that he was
the-
shechted, right?
I think invert the anatomy and invert
Right.
the world into what you do in your words when you speak to God.
You're working on high. That's really what I was trying to. Bottom line, sum it all up. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is when I am davening here, and what do I tell women? Always elevate it. Constantly elevate everything. Oy Hashem, my children, right? We said children are chutzpahdik to me. Oy, what the Shechina is experiencing, so to speak, the chutzpah of her children being chutzpahdik to her, right? Shlom Bait, oy, Hashem, how much the Shechina is sitting in ashes, in darkness, awaiting for the groom to come and lift her up, and for us to be again one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Constantly connecting it, making that those yichudim, by working really hard at it, we're really, truly creating a partnership with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and mamish filling in heavenly gaps. That's sort of like to summarize it. And the minute Yaakov, no, I got my with Rivka, with Yitzchak. The minute Yitzchak was able to see in Rivka what was missing, so to speak, in the Shechina, and he was able to, so to speak, correct it, she was able to conceive. He had done the yichud alamala, and so there was a yichud shalmata. Now, I'm not saying that we're on that darga, but I know that every time we lift something up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, every time we're pushed and motivated through difficulties to daven to Hashem, and we relate it up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? I have problems, mechanech my child. My child has this difficulty, that's up. To look for a way of elevating it and connecting it to a deficiency. Sometimes it's clearer than others. Other times, right? Then we're able to bring about, then we're able to step out of what's going on in my world and understand that many times, and this is the pinpoint of it all, that many times the spiritual deficiency in Shemaim has not been filled. And so that's why it seems as if Hashem is not answering us. But we don't understand that it's being delayed because we're serving a higher purpose with our tefillah. So I look at it as, Hashem, you're not listening to me. And the opposite, Hashem saying, you're doing a great job. Continue. I need more. Give me more tefillah. Look, the gap. Oh, you're sealing it. Oh, a little bit still dripping. Fill it. We don't understand. And so when we say hakol tovah, it's hakol tovah. It's all good. I just don't see it. again, we're here just giving glimpses of the chokhmah, of the wisdom of our sages and the tzaddikim, of Rav Kook, Rabbi Nachman, and all the prestigious and righteous tzaddikim. But let's just understand, this is just a glimpse. This is just one angle. Can you just imagine? Can we just fathom what we're really, really doing down here? When Hashem says, I appointed you to be a partner, we're mamish partners. We have a task, a mission to fulfill. We have to understand that. And Hashem gave us the circumstances of our lives so that it would fill precisely the voids that need to be filled up on high. And that's what this is all about.
So I understand that there are female and male aspects of the Shekhinah, but how is there a deficiency in the Shekhinah?
That was a question.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's a shur in itself, and maybe we will do a shur like that, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to have to explain just a little bit.
The deficiency between the Shekhinah and Am Yisrael? That maybe I can...
Okay, no. Okay, so we were created, this world as we know it, was created in what's called a halal, in a place of emptiness. Hashem, so to speak, created, so to speak, within the entire spectrum of existence, he created as if a place where, so to speak, because Hashem is all and can do anything, kiviyachol, as if Hashem pulled himself out of this void, and therefore, in this world, there's a term called imperfection. Because how can it be in if Hashem is everything and everything is Hashem, then how can how can evil exist? How could there be imperfection? How could there be a void? How can there be a deficiency, right? So as if, so to speak, what?
Because he wants it.
Right, well, that's it. But how did Hashem, so to speak, on a sort of physical explanation way, he, so to speak, pulled, that's what's called tzimtzum, like Hashem made this space for us, the world, to be in, whereas if Hashem is able to not only hide himself, but to allow something other than him, so to speak, to exist. And we have the power to empower that other things, and also Hashem, to power and empower, depending on our deeds. Everything is a consequence. We have to understand, everything is really a cause and effect. Everything that happened, that's what I'm saying, we bear responsibility for what happened today. Every single one of us. Every single one of us bears responsibility.
It's in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, they what? Is collective?
It's whoever, throughout the entire Kadol Aleph.
Really? Who started this? You don't know? Okay,
No.
it doesn't matter. Write yourself. Pitum Orit. It's a special tefillah that was said on the Mizbeach, on the times of the Beis Hamikdash. Yeah.
I thought when Hashem did that, when he tzimtzum, it was to allow something other than himself
To exist.
to exist.
Right.
But that means imperfection, because it doesn't make
The
sense.
ability, the
But
ability.
imperfection is part of the perfect plan. I mean, imperfection
Right.
can't be really
That's exactly
imperfect.
it.
It's
That-
really perfect.
Exactly. That's it. So, but to us, it seems like imperfection. It seems not good.
So it's the illusion that something's
It's,
missing.
of course, everything's in that. This whole world is olam deshikra. Of course it is. Absolutely it is. Everything is an illusion. Everything is in order for us to be able to work towards the master plan of perfecting something, but to feel like we were part of it. To feel like we were part of it. Do you understand? The whole idea is Hashem created this. He says, yes, I created the universe. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to be part of creation. The only way that Hashem can give us a part of that creation is to take away something. Otherwise, what am I creating? There's nothing to create. If everything's finished and done, what do I have to do? Twiddle my thumbs. There's nothing for me to do. So Hashem, as if created and said, there are certain things that I left out. And I left out specifically for you to do. But like you're right, that leaving out is part of the perfect plan. So it really does need to be filled, but it's part of the perfection of Hashem's plan. It's
So
very...
when Yitzchak saw what was going with Rivka, he saw that was reflective of something missing in the Shekhinah.
In the Shekhinah. There was some...
Which is an illusion.
In our world, it's not an illusion because it feels real. In our world, it's not an illusion. It really is real. It's the pain that we're going through, the tragedies, the evil, it's real.
Right.
They're all real. The reason why I feel like it's evil in this world, and that's why it's not that it's not a mitzvah to cry. When something like this happens, Hashem says, yes, go on the ground, put ashes on your head, wear sackcloth, mourn. It's really bad. In this world, I'm not expected to see, and be able to understand what's going on up there. So I'm experiencing this now. I'm experiencing this pain right now. I'm supposed to feel and mourn and cry and yell out. But the truth...
I thought you mentioned the thing that everything's for the best. Everything Hashem does is for the best, and be happy.
It's for the best because it serves a better... No. It's for the best because it brings me to be able to fulfill the best. It doesn't mean that this would happen. I'm not... Right.
think is the best.
It's
the best.
right.
I know there is.
But although that once we're actually taken out of this world,
We'll see it's for the best.
we're going to say that now we have the two brachas, right? Hatova mitiv and dayanim. Chazal teach us that not only will we say Baruch HaMitiv on the things that appear to be good, but we're actually going to be saying Baruch HaTov HaMitiv on the things that we previously said Baruch Dayanim. So in other words, what I'm looking at now as being horrible and evil, which in my world and now there's nothing good about it. But on the other hand, let's take a Musar lesson of what happened from the three boys. Hashem Yinkom Damam. What happened? What happened from that? Can we see good that came out of it? Can we see how it saved thousands of lives because of the war, because of the discovery of the tunnels, because of the action that we took, because of the massacre that we were able, with Hashem's help, to be able to make sure that it didn't come to fruition. Now we're involved in a lot of pain right now. Tonight, now, for coming weeks, or however long, whatever it is, God willing, nothing more will happen. But I feel in my bones that somehow we're going to see something that's going to come out of this, and we're going to see the greater purpose of what happened here. Again, I'm not saying it's good, and I know we could have done, every one of us, God willing, we're going to learn that so that next time this doesn't have to happen, so that we'll see the greater good come out of it. That we'll be able to see the good from the good and not the the good from the tragedy. But there is something bigger that we're not seeing here right now. And that's what we need to understand. So when I'm in my own world and I'm experiencing my own pain, I'm not even talking about the collective pain that we all we're going through today. I'm talking about my own pain in my own four corners of my world. I need to understand that it's part of a bigger pain. It's part of a bigger picture. And it was perfectly designed for me to be able to yell out and be able to fix the greater picture. And so not to feel like I'm not being answered and Hashem doesn't want to hear from me anymore. I keep saying the same thing over again. Like, how much can I say it? We need to know that it's building. We're building something with every tefillah. And it is doing something. It is building something for the greater good. I mean, I don't know. I had this thing 2 days ago. I don't know. It just suddenly came to me while I was doing something. I was feeling this intense uneasiness. I was feeling very uncomfortable, and I went into the shower, and I'm thinking to myself, I need a daven. I don't know what I need a daven for. I just need a daven. Got out of the shower, and I was ready to go to bed, and I paced back and forth in my living room. It was like 12 o'clock at night, and I just felt this yearning to daven for my kids, to daven for Am Yisrael. I just somehow felt like something bad was gonna happen. And so who knows what, again, everybody's tefillah does something. Who knows why I needed to daven that night? Hashem caused some sort of a fear, some sort of a worrisome, overwhelming fear inside of me. And it was real. It was mamish real. It wasn't just some sort of paranoia out of nowhere. Something, who knows, for all I know, something was supposed to, God forbid, happen greater, bigger, maybe personally or something. God forbid. But when we have that, when Hashem is giving us this reason to daven, because He needs it from from every single one of us right now. He needs that in-depth, heart achy, really like I can't take this pain anymore kind of crying out. He needs it. He desires it. And somehow it serves for our better to have that yearning. Our soul somehow needs that connection.
Yesterday was Shvila Rebbe Yahrzeit. So there was like a huge thing.
Wow.
There's a rain and there's so many people non-stop in the rain.
Wow.
You couldn't even get close to you couldn't even, not in a car, so why Tzaddik doesn't, I'm sure, maybe Tzaddik did something that to protect, maybe Khalil was supposed to be even worse, so
They said that right next door was a gun of kids, a cheder of kids or something.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Should only hear good news, Bezat Hashem, only good news, and hope to see, to be in touch with you guys next week with the webinar, Bezat Hashem.